Uh, Morena, bro. Welcome.
Morena.
Welcome to Hiko or Te Rangi Curtis. Welcome to my little podcast, bro. Pure Jamie Milne Podcast and on JMT Mind Gym. We had a little kōrero, which is a chat just before we've started. And I'm very excited about today. You're an individual, bro, which I've communicated to you. Very inspired by. I've always watched and observed with warmth in my heart for how you represent our country, how you represent Te Ao Māori, Rotorua, Te Arawa, and I could go on and on and on, but it's been a real privilege to be able to kōrero with you every now and then and just be a very small part of witnessing and observing your journey. So thank you for coming and having a chat today, my bro.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Uh,
Love this fella. Love him, man. Like he's helped me through so much mentally, to break down a few barriers from last year. We met last year, and ever since then, he's never been able to get rid of me. So I'm very fortunate to have him as a part of my whare, which is my house, my sacred house that I have. Um, that just keeps the walls up in my journey of CrossFit. Yeah, so thank you.
It's very kind, bro. Very kind, very generous, bro. It's a real privilege, bro. I'd love if you wouldn't mind, uh, maybe opening up our conversation today with what we know as karakia. Maybe let the listeners or the watchers, because this will be on Spotify and Zoom, what
Mm.
karakia is and why it's so important to us as Māori.
Sweet. I'll rip into the karakia and I'll explain that.
Man.
Kia hihiri ake. Tiki nā tura te pūtake o ngā kōrero i te wānanga, tiki nā tura te hautapu o ngā reki. Kaiwhatahia e tāne te wānanga ki runga ki wēnei taura, ki runga ki wēnei tauira. Ka koira te matapu nenga, mai angi te matapu i hoi ho whanno, whanno, haramai te toki. Haumi e, hui e, tāe ki e. So karakia is pretty much like a prayer for all of us. It's a ancient way that our people, the Maori people, used to open up anything they were getting into. Could have been for war, could have been for activities, could have been for games, food, time of the season, and everything pretty much. So, in our culture, that karakia is very sacred to us.
Mm. Awesome. Beautiful, bro. What a great way to open our conversation.
Mhm.
Brother, I'm without a shadow of doubt, I'm sure many people in the CrossFit community will be listening in to this chat, seeing if they can get that extra
Mm.
5% or the 1% for the LSKD people, bro. They'd be stepping around. But bro, I'd like to talk. We can talk about snatches and we can talk about burpees and we can talk about handstand walking and maybe those horrible farmers carries you did at Torian. Bro, that was like carrying, not that I know, but watching was like, looked like you were carrying a small European car, bro, like one of those small Audis in each hand. Um, Crazy, eh?
Those are.
Oh,
So I was working hard on Farmers Carry leading up to Tour Pro. But I was just with just normal Farmers Carry. I wasn't with the kettlebells.
mm.
And the kettlebells weighed 92 kgs each on each hand. And as I was testing it out in the warm-up area, I lifted it up. The lifting was fine. It was the walking for me that was difficult. It was it was just so thick, and if you don't have any experience with the kettlebells, you don't know how to maneuver it so you can walk properly, and that was my case. I just did not know how to walk with it. But other than that, it was a great experience.
Mm. Bro, I was just thinking, I did Dubai's Fittest Man's Challenge when they when they let Koros in there. I was maybe 2000. Oh, bro, my memory's really bad. Might be 211, something like that. Yeah, maybe 211. Yeah, you're like, yeah, bro, when I was born. No, yeah,
When I was eight.
yeah, yeah. Bro, and I remember they had like a 40 kilo farmer's carry. It was after skis had just come along. and some other things. And oh, bro, I thought that was like carrying the weight of the world. All my problems, all my emotions in 40.
Honestly, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go touch and go. I'm gonna go unbroken. As soon as I lifted those kettlebells up, I was like, fuck, I don't think you can do it. Like I fully believed in it too. I was like, no, I got this. I got this. Yeah, lift the kettlebells up, and I was like,
Ah, oh,
not
these ones.
today.
These ones are paru. These ones are kettlebells. Bro, I was talking to the wife this morning because I was like really excited knowing that we were going to talk, and I said one of the things I noticed, bro, and I actually mean this as a compliment. This is not. It might sound like it's not, but it actually is the biggest compliment. And bearing in mind, this is just my perspective. I
Mm,
I believe you have a lot of what a lot of CrossFit athletes don't have. And
mm,
what may be, and I definitely will not say missing, but what might not be completely present right now is coming. Now, whilst that's
mm,
a bit of a riddle, bro, what it means to me is when I think of you and I watch you, the way you conduct yourself beyond, the complexities of CrossFit and all the movements and that, I feel like you have that higher purpose, you have that higher meaning. You're an athlete that truly understands where they come from, who they are, where we belong. And it's something much deeper than performance and competition.
mm.
As a proud
Thank you.
Māori, oh, bro, I mean it like sincerely. It's essentially something deeper. I find it very hard to use words. I know, Aristotle. I think he was from Rotorua as well, ancient Māori. He talked about the telos, and telos
Mm,
meaning the end in mind, and he believed all of us as human beings and living creatures, we had a higher purpose, we had an end in mind, and I'm not sure many people figure it out, bro. And I don't want to speak for you because maybe you're not completely aware yet, but I can't help but think you are much closer than a lot of us. And I think
mm,
that something deeper, that higher purpose, that end in mind is very present with you. And a telos is like if you think of like an acorn, its telos, its end in mind, its life's journey is to be a tree.
mm,
He wants to be a dog, a human, a baby's telos is to be a flourishing human. And then some of us, we have a higher purpose and we have a higher meaning. And I feel like what other athletes, if we look at the Rich Fronings, we look at, I know he's probably a bit of an old fella now, but the high achievers in sport, they got a great skill set, they got great, CrossFit has all the complexities of gymnastics and the lifting and strength training and all these types of things. But you have what I believe a lot of others don't have.
mm,
And for somebody as young as you, bro, we're still, arguably biology, you got plenty of time, man.
mm.
The window hasn't even begun to think about closing yet.
Yeah.
You got tons of time and you are so far ahead, bro, because you know where you belong, you know who you
Mm,
are, know where you come from, and that to me is your competitive advantage and the way you represent yourself. And our culture, our country, and Australia is nothing short of remarkable, bro. And that's to me, this
mm,
is just in my perspective, that's your competitive advantage. And I want to talk about that more than I want to talk about your athleticism. Is that all right?
mm. Yeah, that's great. I love that. I appreciate that too. Thank you. I
Well,
truly do. Um, there's this fella that I listen to quite often, an audio, and I love listening to audios as I train or as I'm walking or as I'm running. Specifically, this audio really resonates with that. His name is Dr. Jeff Wilson. He's a kite surfer. And he's
yeah,
one of the best in the world, like absolute best in the world. He's recently broken a world record or something like that. But
that's-
yeah, and he one of the adventures that he was on, there was this. a lady that he was close with who had breast cancer.
Mhm.
And he was like, as adventurous as he was telling his friend with the breast cancer that I'm sure we can do something that, can get the word out that breast cancer is huge and, can affect all our female, all our ladies in the world. So what he did was he created like a kite surfing and he went on this great adventure. And long story short, he made it to the end. Like it was one of the adventures that he could have died in between it because it was so
Mm.
freezing. Like I don't it was
Oh,
in Antarctica and he was kite surfing along that. So if anything bad happened, he would have died out there. He made it to the end and the exploration was a field of 15 people. He
mm.
was one of those 15 and he's the only one who made it to the end. A few of them gave up, a few of them died out there.
Whoa.
And there was a whole there was a whole betting syndicate of who was going to make it to the end. And there was only one person that um betted on him and was guaranteed that Dr. Jeff Wilson would make it to the end. And Dr. Jeff Wilson asked, "Oh, why did you bet on me? Like I had a feeling that people were betting, but
Mm.
I wouldn't think that you would bet on me." And that person told him that said to him, "The reason why I think you made it to the end was because you were doing it for more than yourself." And I was like, "Whoa, shucks." That makes
Yeah.
so much sense. Like, if you give up on yourself, this was the sense of feeling that I had from that. Was like, if you give up on yourself, you're not going to give up on anyone else. So
Mm.
I know I'm not going to give up my mission, or the hard work or anything like that, because I have a higher purpose. And this is how I think. This is how I think. Like, no one has ever made it to the CrossFit Games in Te Ao Māori so far.
Mm.
Um, and I believe I can do that. I truly do. And if I end up giving up on myself, I definitely know I'll never give up on Te Māori, and
Mm.
Te Māori won't give up on me. And that's I don't know, it just brings so much comfort in my mind that I have something to lean on when, let's say, I don't believe in myself in a certain workout or a certain day of training.
Mm.
I can always lean on my culture and Te Ao Māori to carry me through. Like, people think, oh, Hiko's carrying Te Ao Māori through. I was like, no
Mm.
way. Like, yous are
Yeah.
carrying me. Like, if
Yeah.
you could see like the day-to-day things that I do, it's like Te Ao Māori and the people is carrying me across their line because, man, sometimes it's a challenging day. So for me to be able to lean on Te Ao Māori and my people is a massive game changer for myself because I know, although I did not make it this year, we can make it next year or the year after. It's not like I'll give up on it because I know the people is carrying me through and te wā hingaro. So yeah.
Wow. That's bro. I love the story. It's not that often I've never heard of something, but I've never heard of Dr. Jeff Wilson. All that's
Mm,
something that gives me something to go and have a read and have a listen to. But I love that man. Anything that I've come across um, in my experience around, moving away from self-interest
mm,
to, the greater higher purpose that's beyond oneself is generally, that's a really strong
mm.
driver for people. And I think, yeah, you can't help but be encapsulated by that,
Yeah.
grounded by that. And I think
Mm,
the true blessing that we have as Maori, and I'd love to talk a little bit about whakapapa a little bit later on, but we know, again, where we come from, who came
yeah.
before us, who stands next to us, who's
Mm,
even coming after us.
mm,
You're paving that way for those people, for Maori to follow, what you're doing. You're a pioneer. You're championing
mm,
a sport, as you mentioned, where Maori haven't been on that stage yet.
mm,
But that's you, and that is beyond self-interest, which is
mm.
very powerful, bro. Very powerful. Ah, I love that. What a great story. So then, who?
I'll, I
Oh,
will say though, like, um, as young as I am, I don't know everything. Like, I have so much to learn. So on top of that, I would say that I put um what is it called? A bit of pressure on myself to perform.
Hmm.
And that's this year. Like I've put a lot of pressure on myself to perform this year to get Te Ao Māori there. So as my season ends, it took me a lot, like, it took me a while, like a month, I'd say, a month and a bit to really be okay with not being at the CrossFit Games. Like
Hmm.
it's such a massive dream of mine, and to not only be there, but just get Te Iwi Māori there and see that far out, someone can do it. When I just missed that, like it was literally like it was right there, and just as I missed it, I was like, man, far out. But it was good day. Like I had a good conversation with my dad and a few people, and they're like, sometimes you don't have to worry too much about TV Māori because they're backing you now. Like
Hmm.
they have your back and they see what you can do. They see the hard work that you put in. And it's not like you have to prove anything anymore. It's more so let's get there now. It's about getting there healthy. It's about getting Te Māori on top of that podium and everything like that. So I was like, it was a lot of pressure that I put on myself last year to get us there, and they kind of got to me right at the end there. So it was a lot of lessons over the past year. So I've been really enjoying it.
Bro, that's beautifully said. And that's the thing, eh, with pressure. Pressure is made up of three variables. Like if you look at it from a scientific point of view, a behavioral science point of view, and then you can look at it as a spiritual point of view. Pressure is like water. It will always find cracks. And
Mm,
in a from the science perspective, it's made up of expectations, scrutiny, and consequences. And so as athletes will have that on themselves. So I know that if I asked you, did you have expectations of yourself? The answer would be yes.
yes.
Were you, yeah, were you aware of consequences? Yep. Did you scrutinize yourself over the competition days? And the answer would be yes. But
Mm,
there's also others too, bro. Like you would be thinking, well, Maori people, they will have expectations. They will be aware of the consequences, and then they could quite potentially scrutinize. And it's actually easy when you think of like say like a sport like the All Blacks. You think of the All Blacks, those players, they would have their, expectations, scrutiny, and consequences on self. And then the media, they've got their expectations, they've got their, consequences. They will scrutinize. You got the fans.
mm,
Anything, if the All Blacks lose, they turn the lights out back home. And they would turn them back on in about 3 days. Like and that's where pressure comes from. A spiritual lens to look through is when we try and obtain the unobtainable. It's like the desire to obtain the unobtainable. So sometimes an easy example is to get the perfect body. I want the perfect body. Oh, you're pretty close, bro, I might add. But there's a few of us middle-aged people and beyond. We that desire to obtain the unobtainable. Like you get the abs for a couple of weeks, and next minute look in the mirror, and just because you had maybe like a sausage roll or a double. I see somebody ask where you get a double cheese and meat pie the other day on Facebook. I was like, my man.
yeah.
And that desire that creates the pressure and the stress, or the desire to avoid the unavoidable. That creates pressure. So you think the longevity, and you're quite a few years away from this, but the longevity industry is $1 trillion industry. People, we're sticking needles in our face so we don't look like we're aging. The
Mm,
Botox, we got the Ozempics going, we got anything to try and keep ourselves alive, but we're avoiding the unavoidable. We will
mm,
pass at some stage. So that creates pressure. I've gone off on a bit of a tangent, bro, but pressure is an
mm.
interesting one. But if we know how it gets created and where it's coming from, that can inform our decision making and what we do to protect ourselves at all times. Yeah.
I wrote that down.
I know, no, you're so, and that, bro, would you mind telling the people that are listening and watching how old are you, bro?
I am 22.
Oh my God, man. I think I've told you this before. I couldn't even tie my shoelaces in my 20s. And there you are, like taking notes on a podcast. Team, people listening to this or watching, if you haven't taken that on board what Hiko's doing, you are missing out. That's it right there. Like got a pen and paper ready to take notes of anything that pops out. That's so good, bro. Bro, who if CrossFit disappeared tomorrow, CrossFit was no longer, who would you still be, bro? Who would you be with if CrossFit was gone tomorrow?
I'd be fat. No.
Oh, speaking of that double cheese pie, yeah.
No, I thought about this a while back because I was kind of attaching myself to CrossFit in terms of identity. And I understand it's, it's just a normal thing to do when you're striving to be great in any area. Because like you attach yourself to that thing so you have a bit of sense of identity. But and as I think about it, I was quite young too. I think it was last year or the year before, and I was like, oh, for such a young fella to think like this. It's because it was so close to me actually losing CrossFit there for a few years. So I guess I lost a bit of identity out of it. So after that, I thought to myself, oh, if I didn't have CrossFit, who would I be? And I definitely know the one answer that came to my head was I'd be Māori. That's it. And I'm grateful that I have that. I'm grateful that I am Māori. I'm grateful that I was brought up in such a Māori household. Have loads of cousins that I love, aunties, uncles. Like CrossFit doesn't define who I am. It's just right now I'm really good at it. That's it. Like, and I'm that's a I'm saying that out of confidence, not so much out of ego. It's because I know that I'm good. Um, and I definitely get better. But if CrossFit was gone tomorrow, yeah, I'd definitely be Māori. I'd be back home learning more about my culture, helping my people in any way that I can to educate our people on Matariki, on our New Year, on anything that evolves, revolves around Te Ao Māori. Is like, yeah, I'd just be Māori, a Māori kid from Rotorua.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful, bro. Beautiful. And how important and maybe have to I'll give what I think about the topic of whakapapa. Like I'd love to know knowing your whakapapa has that supported enhanced you or influenced you
Mm,
as an athlete. And so my understanding of whakapapa, and kind of like briefly indirectly touched on it earlier on, is that where we come from, our marae, our ancestral home, our ancestors, those that come before us, and also those that come after us, and not
mm,
necessarily even just defined by blood, by
mm,
family. And I had it described a long time ago. I heard it, and I could be on the wrong pathway, bro. So you might have to fill in the gaps. We're kind of like linked, like arms linked together in a line of our people, and I think that gives me personally
mm,
gives me confidence and also comfort. It's like a great security.
mm,
I do a fair bit of public speaking and workshops and stuff like that, and I still get very nervous, excited, fearful, anxious, a bit overwhelmed. And that's actually one of the things that calm me down because I think my ancestors have going to go forward for me and open some doors and create a pathway and keep me safe so I can do my work. Would you be able to share, bro, your thoughts on whakapapa? And
mm.
if I've got that a bit confused.
Yeah, no, you're on the money. You're on the money there with the
Okay, cool.
whakapapa.
Yeah.
Whakapapa at Pepeha is definitely um man, drivers like before I'll just give a brief overview of how I practically use whakapapa. So whakapapa is a lineage and it goes for Te Ao Māori. It goes from me or my child. I don't have one just yet. From me all the way up to Sky Father and Earth Mother. So we believe Rangi Nui Papa Tuanuku and beyond is where our whakapapa starts. And it
Mhm.
comes all the way down. And I know one pathway to them. And there's many ways to get there, and that is whakapapa. That's all our ancestors before us. So my mother, my dad's mum, my dad's, like it goes all the way up. So that's what whakapapa is. It binds all of us together. Um, Pepeha talks about our ancestral home, our mountains, our rivers, our lakes, our oceans, our ancestral meeting houses, our war houses, and everything like that that binds us all together in one place. And that's what Pepeha is. And how I use that practically is that if I am actually I use it every time. I use it every single time I'm competing. Is that right before I go, I always tell my kaitiaki or my ancestors, uh, you fellas, like I need you on this one. Like this barbell is a bit too heavy for me at the moment. And in that moment, I know they're there. I know it's a bit woo-woo for some people,
Ah,
but for
I feel
me, it's just how our culture is. It's that we believe in like we just believe in what we believe in, and that's what I believe in. We believe in our kaitiaki, te wāhingaro, because sometimes, man, I look at some of the workouts and I'm like, I don't I don't know if I'm actually capable of getting this time or if I'm actually capable of lifting this weight or if I'm going too slow or too fast. So this is when I going back to the start of our conversations that I lean on our culture. Like I
mm,
lean heavily on our culture to carry me through workouts because man, like one of the snatches is 120 kgs at the end of the workout, and you would think, man, like that's heavy. That's heavy at the end of a workout. And fortunately enough, at Torian, I won it. But I know it was my hard work, and I know it's the technique that I have. But if you truly look at it, it's as if I lifted that bar up like it was my first snatch for the night.
mm,
But I know it wasn't just me out there, and it was my ancestors and it was my kaitiaki that helped me lift it. Because if you truly look at it, it's as if
yeah.
it was my first snatch. And in training, I'll give you a bit of an example on this one. In training, I did that workout and um, I failed the third bar in training, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can finish this one out on the comp floor. So I was going out there with no expectations, but belief that the Kaitiaki and my ancestors would take on all of this weight so I could get to the finish line and ended up winning it. So, and in that sense, I can give a bit of an example of how I utilize my culture, whakapapa, ancestors, and wāhingaro and pepeha, and just that simple workout.
Wow. I remember that was beautifully said, bro. I was watching that workout. I was in bed. I was snatching the duvet with you, bro. I was like, go, bro, go. Man, you're right. You made it look effortless. It was crazy. And then,
Hmm.
yeah, wow, that was unreal. That's a lot of weight, man. That is a
That's
lot.
a lot of weight. That's
That
like
is
an
a lot of
extreme
weight.
amount of weight.
Especially after the compounding fatigue of everything that came
Mm.
before it, and for that to be the last,
Yeah,
that last lift to be that heavy, that's significant, bro. Talking
yeah.
of small European cars, that was one of the SUV ones, not those big ones. Do you do, does pressure? You talked about a little bit, and I like this conversation around pressure because I think a lot of the listeners will be able to identify with this. Do you think pressure feels different? Have you ever felt like you were competing? Have you ever felt, I'm going to ask this a bit better actually. Have you ever felt in the past that you were competing for just yourself versus represent people?
Um, can you hear
Uh,
me?
Do, do you feel the difference? Have you noticed any difference? Oh, did it just cut out a little bit? Oh,
Yeah,
it's
it cut out
so
just a little bit.
funny. Yeah, here we go. It's back. So weird, bro. pay for the flashless internet with Telstra. Oh, yeah. When you were do you remember a time when you were competing when it felt like you were, or have you ever felt like you when you were just competing for yourself versus representing Māori? Was
Mm.
there ever a time where it was where it was a little bit self-interest? I don't think this is a bad thing, by the way. Neither good.
Neither.
Yeah, where it was self-interest versus the greater understanding of representing Māori and your sort of higher purpose and commitment to putting Māori on the world stage. If you
Mm. I don't know actually. I
Because this is the thing that other people, I believe, and I'm assuming a lot, but I would imagine just, everyday athletes that are having a crack, they're possibly not thinking about, something beyond self.
mm,
This is where I was leaning towards at the start, where I believe
mm,
is your indirect competitive advantage. This is
yeah.
the uniqueness of your approach. And I would also argue probably why you are so good
Mm,
for such a young man with so much more growth, physiologically. You got lots of testosterone waiting around the corner, bro. It's coming in hot, and you got plenty of years to go. Yeah. So did that? Are you able to speak to that a little bit? Because one seems
yeah.
like responsibility. So we feel like we've got a responsibility
Mm,
be bigger than self, and the other one can sometimes feel like a burden. Sometimes,
yeah.
yeah.
I've always had this mindset, eh?
Mm,
It's just it's like as I as I grew up, it was always about what can you do for your people?
mm,
Like what can you how can you just help with things around the marae? Like can you just help with the dishes? It was never like, oh, I don't want to do the dishes. Obviously, I don't want to do the dishes, but if it's going to help with the marae and the way that we run the kitchen,
mm,
it's obviously going to help just having one hand around the kitchen or one hand around the marae, just sweeping up the leaves in front of the marae so it looks pristine, so it looks beautiful. Or just helping out with the waiata so that we look strong as we sing. And it's always that's all I think that's always been programmed into me is always like how can you help your people? Um and I think and I as beautiful as our people are, I do think we run ourselves dry in the sense that because we're always giving,
mm, mm,
um, we don't really have time for ourselves.
mhm,
We're pouring out of an empty cup sometimes. Like Dad, man, like he it seems because he's a tohunga, so he's always giving to his people, but as soon as he gets home, he's buggered, he's tired, and I believe with all the books that I've done and worked with you is that if you can give yourself 100%, you can give everybody else whatever is on top of that. Like you're pouring from an empty cup sometimes, um and I think to have a balance of both is definitely something that I would say is massive. It's not it's like I do lean heavily on our people, but if I don't show up as the best me,
mm,
then it's not really going to be showcased out there on the floor. So
mhm.
I lean on both, but in terms of when times are tough, I'll lean on um my people and our culture. But in order for me to lean on them and show up as the best version of myself, I have to lean on myself to do the repetitions every single day, like the books that I read, the audios that I listen to, our kōrero that we go through.
Mm.
As long as I'm learning every single day, as long as I'm putting in the reps for myself, to show up as my best version so that my people can carry me over that line, if that makes sense.
Oh, bro, that makes total sense. I think in one of our, I hope the listeners understood that as well. You actually said it very well. I remember one of our first conversations. It was a long time ago, and I was always moved by, I think the lady's name. I hope I don't pronounce it wrong. It was like Maya D'Angelo. She was Oprah Winfrey's old Auntie Oprah, was was Oprah's mentor, and she talked about, and you said the cup um,
Mm,
analogy or metaphor, which is a great one. And exactly as you said, like we if we continually give, and this could be as, as a people or as an individual, it
mm,
applies to both examples. If we're giving from, we can't give anything from an empty cup if there's nothing in the cup. And
mm,
generally that will create, often create like a resentment. People will get hoha, people will get annoyed where they feel like
mm,
give and give and give, and they're not got anything for self.
mm,
And so the solution to that, the antidote to that, is to ensure that we fill one's cup, or, the people's cup,
mm,
the Marai's cup, whatever, the iwi's cup, fill, top it up. And only we know, well, what truly tops up our cup. And you had alluded to such things as reading and audio books and kōrero with, trusted, qualified people. And I know you're big on your health protocols and recovery
mm,
protocols and all those things that are important, and they top up the cup. So in essence, Maya D'Angelo's theory was you don't give anything to anybody
mm.
until that cup is completely full. And she says it in a way of, fill your own cup. And once the cup start to once it
Yeah,
spilleth over, then people can drink that. They
yeah,
can have all of that. But if there's nothing in the cup, then nobody gets anything. So
mm.
get that fill first. And it's not I think it's important to note too, it's not in a selfish way. It's in a
No, no, no.
self-fulfilling way.
Mm,
You actually said it really well, bro, and I applaud that. It's like, well, if Hiko does that, then your wahine, your important people, your whānau, those that are close to you are going to get the best version of you. So we get
mm,
the best fiance, we get the best brother, we get the best uncle, we get the best cousin, we get the best son. The work that you do, they get the best
yeah,
professional representation of
yeah,
Hiko. And then the other thing that you said there, which underpins everything, is that when you're on the competition floor, then you're the very best that you can be and all you can be, at that moment. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, did I get that right, bro? Were
Yeah,
you?
spot on. Like
Yeah.
Te Raipini a few nights ago, she'll be like, if I'm a little bit grumpy, she's like, oh, go read your book. Oh, sweet. I
Oh,
must need to,
oh,
yeah,
oh, oh, far out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I must need to fill my cup up.
I could be some time. Yeah. How good is that? Go away and read your book. Man, I wish people would say that to me, bro. I got heaps of books to read. That's a classic. A little bit of a funny sort of question, but I love language, bro. Like I love words. I love learning words, what they mean, the representation. Now because you're fluent in Te Reo, eh?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. That's awesome. Do you think language changes the way you think, bro? The way you perhaps regulate your feelings and emotion? Like, do you think language, yeah, does it change the way you think and feel?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm fortunate enough that my wahine is also fluent. But the way she speaks is a lot is grammatically correct. The way I learned was just by listening through my elders and my parents and everything like that. But she's grammatically correct, so we're able to have conversations about anything and everything in Te Reo Māori. Like it could be literally anything, and I love it. It's like it changes the scenery of what I'm doing in the day. You know what I mean? Like over here in Ahitereiria in Australia, could be easy just to follow through and just go with the flow. But when we start speaking Māori, it brings a sense of home and to us because we're so far from home and we miss home every day. But speaking the language brings a bit of that wairua to us. But it can also be a tool for us um, just to use as we're just going through our day. If we're unhappy with something, we can speak Te Reo Māori. If we're really, this is actually when it really comes out, is when we're really excited about something. Then we start speaking Te Reo Māori to each other. it's like it's really cool because it changes the scenery of everything that we do, no matter
Oh,
where we are. And I love that. Like, I'll take it back to competition as a bit of an example. When we're speaking in Te Reo Māori, we're usually talking about someone that I can beat.
yeah.
Instead of saying you need to be 2 seconds ahead of Bailey Martin in order for you to take this. This is just an example. We didn't actually say this, but in order for you to be ahead of anyone, you have to be 2 seconds ahead of them so you can take 5 points off of them, and then you will stay ahead of the lead, and you'll have the lead for the game's ticket. But in Te Reo Māori, it'll be like, me rua he kona koe I mua I aia ki te kore koe whakatutu ki tērā ka hinga I a koe ngā piro. And it's like, that's exactly how we speak, so we can use it in that sense, or like, um, just so, because no one else knows Te Reo Māori, so we utilize it in our own house, wherever we are, so that we can speak to each other secretly about our game plan.
Yeah. Ah, cool. Oh, don't let anybody in your secrets, bro. Whenever Hiko starts speaking Maori, he's up to something.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, he's got a trick up his sleeve.
Hey, oh, that LSKD, bro, that 1%.
Yeah.
1% better. Oh, that old chestnut, eh? Bro, when little bit into your previous athletic achievements, because you got correct me if I'm wrong, bro. Did you get the bronze at the CrossFit Games as a teenager?
Yes, yeah,
Yep. No,
yeah,
that's
third
incredible.
place.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably a better way of saying it, hey, bro. Third. Well, you get the bronze at the yeah. For people listening or watching, Hiko got third place at the CrossFit Games. That's at the international level as a teenager. Bro, for Fano and people back home, were they proud of were they proud of the achievement, the outcome? And I know it's probably a big question trying to speak for other people, but generally, were they proud of the outcome, or do you think they're more proud of the person that you're becoming?
Oh, that's a good question. I've never thought about that one. Um,
I think about this stuff all the time. Yeah.
well, my they just all knew what I was doing. Like
Mm,
I'd miss school days just to go and train, but yeah, like there was a whole situation there. But I got all my uh essays done and everything, so I was still good. But I'd miss school for it. My aunties and my uncles, like it didn't matter who it was, like they always dropped me off to the gym whenever I needed a ride to the gym. Used to catch bus rides from my uncle to the gym, like while he was supposed to be dropping kids off, like all those things. Like everybody was always on board and understood why Hiko wasn't at a function, or why Hiko wasn't performing on stage, or why Hiko didn't go here, or why Hiko wasn't eating that cookie at the marae. Why isn't he eating the boil up? They all understood what I was doing and where I was going. So I had a great foundation there in terms of people supporting me and understanding why I was doing what I was doing at such a young age. But that's just how I am. I'm always 100% in everything that I do. But in terms of the achievement that I received, they were proud of me before I even got the bronze, before I even got third place. Like they were so proud that I was over there representing our people. I took out our school flag, our iwi flag out there instead of the New Zealand flag. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna represent my people. I'm gonna represent Te Māori, my iwi, and I took my school flag that represents our iwi out there, and I was so proud, man. I was happy as but I think third place just came with what I was doing and the belief that I had. But everybody was always proud because how we got to the games, there were four of us. It was my mum, my dad, my wahine, and myself. And the flights were paid because of our people. Like we got more than 25 grand
wow.
um that we fundraised on Facebook. Like we only posted it once and we
Mm,
got 25 grand out of it.
man,
So I think that goes to show that they're all proud of me.
it's
Um,
a lot of money, bro. It's a lot of money.
that's a crazy amount of money. Like Like, honestly, we were like, oh, we have to cut it off, or else it's going to get to 30K. It was like, it was getting too much, and it was getting to the point where we were like, oh, we don't want to abuse the love that we're receiving.
Mm.
So we cut it off at 25K. It was my parents' call. I was like, oh yeah, let's go. I was 16 at the time, so like having $100 was heaps.
Yeah.
But
I could just.
in that sense, that's a bit of proof of what our what our people how much our people believed in me. And
Mm.
that's not just from my iwi either. That's like from across Aotearoa. Like so many
Mm.
people were giving from all across Aotearoa that I didn't even know who they were.
How
Like,
good.
yeah, it was just like fortunate, really, really grateful in that sense. With obviously the help of my parents and everything like that. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question there.
Absolute, like spot on, spot on. That's so good, bro. Oh, I could just imagine seeing all 16-year-old Hiko, all that money going up. Oh,
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, let's go.
oh, ooh, might not have to go to work after. That might be me, I think. Couple more questions, bro. I'm mindful of time. You know me, bro. I could talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles about all this stuff.
Oh, same.
Oh,
That
so
wow, that's
yeah,
insane right there.
yeah, bro. Easy, easy. So in a high performance, something I like, and a little caveat to this, little disclaimer to this next question, because I have strong opinions about high performance. Like every second, maybe it's my algorithm on my social media, but everything I see is yeah, it probably is actually high performance is high performance that blah 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 blah. And I've come to forge quite a strong opinion on high performance, because I see, there's a saying where they say, like, oh, how you do something is how you do everything, or how you do some things are how you do all things, which I actually dislike that saying because I don't think that's true. I have some people that inspire me that are very good at what they do, like in business, high performing business people, but their marriage is a mess, or they
Mm,
are obese, but they're crushing it in business. And the one would argue they're high performing in that context, but they're not high performing across the board, right?
mm,
It's very contextual and situational. And I know, I'm one of your biggest fans, bro, and a big supporter. And one of the things I admire a lot is your ability to be high performing in many contexts. And that's not easy. That's not easy at all. And as a leader, like irrespective of your age, you know how age sometimes usually can
mm,
determine where we are in a sort of a hierarchy, a bureaucratic organization or situation. Whereas I look at you and I think, man, for your age, you're high performing in your sports, within culture and our people, within your relationships with your important people, your commitment to learning, your psychological side of your life. Um,
mm,
and so where I'm going with this question is what, because high performing as an athlete gives us, attributes and traits and characteristics
mm,
like resilience, mental
mm,
toughness, and anti-fragile confidence, self-belief, a
mm,
healthy self-image, some of these types of things. What do you think? So there's some of the common things that, high-performing athletes inherit or uh, integrate in their lives in terms of personalities, traits, characteristics. What do you think the Maori culture, what does that bring? So if you think we got high performance as an athlete and that
mm,
nourishes and nurtures some of these attributes I shared, what do you think, bro, the Maori culture, what does that bring to you in terms of your personality, your characteristics, traits, actions, even inactions, things that we don't do? What parts does the Maori culture bring to you in your life?
mm,
Like, does it make you, example, sorry, bro, does it make you mentally stronger, more strong than what, say, sport
mm.
can do or has done for you?
Yeah. I think for me, it just keeps me grounded wherever I am in the world. Like
Mm,
I'm over in Australia and I made the move for CrossFit, but I understood that um to have a strong foundation, you just got to have a massive belief in whatever you're doing.
mm,
So I made the commitment to go 110% in the sport because I don't have much time in it. Like I do have like 10 more years, but after 10 years and it's over. That's it. That's the sport for me. But it just keeps me grounded. Like I have everything that I need in terms of the books that I read and self-belief and everything that builds me up to be this great athlete. But like to be stacking on top of something, you got to have a great foundation, and that's just my culture. That the belief system that I have, how I was brought up, you always need a strong foundation, or else the house can't stand. That's it. And the foundation that I have is my culture. It starts from there onwards. Like, yeah,
is it like is it te whare tapawha?
yeah, te whare tapawha. Yeah, yeah. You can use that as an example for this as well. It's like it's huge for me to have a strong foundation because once that foundation is gone, man, I'm gone. Like I don't know if I have any sense of direction wherever I am. Like, I
Mm,
just know if I go to another country or if I'm doing something else or if this should be the path that I should take. I know that no matter what, if anything goes south or west or whatever, that I'm always grounded and I can always come back to the center of wherever I am and then go from there. So it always brings me back to my center, and that's I think is very important because if you get lost and you don't
mm.
really know how to come back, then that's a bit hard for some people. But I'm fortunate enough to be grounded in my culture and my beliefs.
Oh, geez, I love that, bro. And that's some that sometimes when I think about it and like the way you've explained it and communicated it, sort of saddens me a little bit that not everybody has that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you would hear it too. Oh, bro, you
yeah,
would hear it 1,000 times more than I do.
yeah.
But people will often say, "Oh man, I wish we had that culture here in Australia." Like what you guys have in New Zealand and Aotearoa.
Mm,
And I often think, yeah, like it's whilst I didn't always feel what you felt, I do more so now as a father and being older and having been overseas majority of my life. It's nice to know and
mm,
to use your word grounding to know that I do know where I come from and what that looks like and where I belong and where I will return when I'm
mm.
finished doing
Yeah.
what I'm doing. That I mean that gives me goosebumps just saying it because
Mm,
I know that that's true. I know where I
mm.
come from. I know who
Yeah.
came, and
Yeah.
therefore I know where I'll return when my work's
Mm.
done. When the sun sets
Yeah.
on the Sunshine Coast for me. So yeah, so I understand what you're saying, bro. And yeah, it does. It gives me a little sadness for other people.
Yeah, it does. But like, I don't know any other way how I can explain it because that's
Mm,
that's just how I grew up, and it does sadden me that some people don't have that sense of grounding, or they
mm,
might, I don't know, but I just
mm.
know that
A
where
lot to
I'm speaking from
mm,
is what I just know, and it's nothing against anyone. It's just my
mm.
experiences and the life that I've been brought up in.
Cool. Bro, what you are for one more question?
Yeah, of course.
I'd love to know this one, man. I'd love to know this one. So just imagine, bro, that this podcast, this goes viral. Like
Yeah.
get plenty people listening, they're taking from it what they will. Now imagine almost on this whole the concept of whakapapa. So imagine 20 years from now, there's a young Maori boy from Te who bumps into this podcast and they're listening and they've heard about you, but this time you're koro, you got all your mokos around. Probably more than 20 years, bro. So
Yeah.
40 years, eh? Let's say 40 years. So 40 years time, somebody comes across this extraordinary podcast, bro, and they're like, wow, well, listen to Uncle Hiko. Let's have a listen. Bro, what would you wish that young Māori boy, just like you, bro, coming from Te Arawa, listen to this extraordinary podcast, what would be the one thing, bro, out of all of the things that they might take away, what would be the one thing that you would wish in your heart that that young boy would learn? What would they learn, bro, from this conversation that you and I have had?
Honestly, mine, and I've always carried this and I've always said this, is that I hope they want to beat me. Like I just genuinely hope that they can beat me. Like that's all I want to see. I just want to see more Maori out there. That's literally it. That's I want. I just want to be a good example or representation or however say that Hiko tested the boundaries. He did really well. Well, let's see if I can do better. And that's how I want them to take it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in CrossFit. It can be in anything. Like just to have some belief that outside of our walls, because some people can just be so limited with what they think is out there. But once they actually truly get out there, they see the fruits of every tree that's out there. It's not just their tree, not just their lemon tree. So I'm big on like testing the boundaries, like really testing the boundaries. But if they can beat me, man, I'd love that. Like if they can win a world title 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, oh, I'd be so happy. Like I'd be glad to see that because that's more that's we have more proof now and great example of what Te Iwi Māori can achieve. It's not just one person, it's all of us. Like I truly think we're one of the most talented people in the world. It's just that we have to test it. Like, and yeah, that's like if they hear this podcast, they'll be like, and they go, "Yeah, I can beat him. Like, I can do it. Yeah, do it. Like, I want you to do it. Like, I love it." That'll be mean. Like, more example for the generations to come.
Wow,
Yeah.
they got some big shoes and big taro to fill, bro. Jeez, no pressure to that young person who listens.
Yeah.
But bro, you just got to try and beat Hiko. Yeah, good
Yeah,
luck.
hard. Just have fun. Just have fun. Just like treat it like a game, mate. Just treat it like a game. Focus on every day. Don't focus too far ahead. That's what I've been doing lately. It's just I've always been focused on tomorrow, and
Mm,
that's can take your focus away on today. So every single day, I'm just focus on what I can do today, and treating it like a game instead of taking myself too seriously.
mm.
Yeah.
Great, great advice, bro. That's a great insight and yeah, great suggestion for people. I think just that, bro, that last 60 seconds what you explained or your answer to that question, I think that does really truly underscore like, your humility as a person. A lot of people in your position that ain't got that humble perspective, bro. Yeah,
Oh, trust me, it's gonna sting, but I'll be like, yeah, the more the
yeah.
better.
Go in the shower and have a little tonguey wet or so no, bro.
Yeah,
See you, bro.
oh, they
Yeah.
actually beat me.
Yeah, I think it does, bro. I think it's a testament to your mana, your humility, this your service to our people and what you do, bro. I've truly loved this kōrero, and I hope you've enjoyed it on a
Oh,
Sunday.
I've loved it. I always love having a yarn with you.
Ah, bro. Likewise, I look forward to it a lot, bro. And I thank you, man. I think you're sharing your experiences and your wisdom. And yeah, and I truly mean wisdom for somebody, man. You're only up on the second floor, room number two on the second floor. Uh, you got all your lot of your ancestors and your whānau's wisdom, intuition and instincts and insights. And we're very fortunate, bro, to get a little experience of that. And I truly hope that everybody gets plenty from you, bro. I always do. I learn, masses every time I talk to you. So thank you, my bro, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Should I cap us off with karakia?
Love that, bro. I'll get a little photo of us, bro,
Yeah,
before
hard.
karakia, and I just make sure I use those flash filters, give it age-defining lines. Ready, bro? Three, two, one. Tahi, rua, toru. I should have done the other way, eh? Thanks, bro. Yeah, I'd love
Nah,
you to
thank
close
you.
with karakia. Yeah.
Thank you so much for today. I definitely wrote a few notes down from your kōrero. Always love learning from you, and definitely one of my greatest mentors in life. So thank you.
Very
Um,
ngā mihi.
Kia hihiri ake tātou, kia hihiri ake tāua. Unuhia rā te pūtake o ngā kōrero i te wānanga, unuhia rā te hautapu o ngā riki kaupatahia e tāne te wānanga, ki runga ki wēnei taura, ki runga ki wēnei tauira. Kia koi rā te matapūnanga mai angi te matapū iho iho whāno, whāno, haramai te toki, haumi e, hui e, tā iki e.
Awesome, my bro. Bro, you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, brother.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you too, bro. Ngā mihi nui, Hiko.